Hi. This one's called The Aliens.
So, as you know, we've just discovered that there are aliens because of that spaceship with aliens in that crashed, and they've got super advanced technology, and it's all massively frightening.
So, what's the plan?
Well, keep it all a complete secret from everybody if at all possible.
Yes, of course. Although, why?
Well, if everybody knew that there were aliens, they might try and help us research or defend against them.
Why don't we want that?
Just general sort of, well, it's nice to have secrets, isn't it?
Plus, the government is very keen that nobody should blame them for there being aliens.
Would people do that?
Well, they will when the aliens invade and they find out that we've known all along and could have been enlisting support all over the world in an effort to defend against them. There'll be hell to pay then, so...
Yeah, cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, let's keep the existence of aliens, which is in no way our fault, or, at this point, exclusively our problem, a complete secret.
How?
Well, we did catch a break there, actually. Fortunately, the aliens landed somewhere very remote, which is also a well-known top-secret army base.
Thank God for that. So we can hide away the dead aliens in that facility. We can also do an autopsy on them there and not tell anyone the results.
Yes, and just to make sure that nobody ever finds out, we should film it.
Agreed.
Is there any other way that people can find out? I mean, between now and the alien invasion for which we'll leave the world unprepared.
Well, they do keep abducting people for weird sex.
Oh dear. Well, the compelling nature of the evidence those people are going to come back to Earth with is something we can do nothing about.
Yes, well, we'll just have to pray that by good fortune there continue to be no independent witnesses.
The other problem is that quite a few excellent black and white photographers have pictures of what can pretty much only be spaceships.
I hate to be a skeptic, but why are we doing any of this?
Well, it doesn't really make sense, does it? But it's just the sort of thing that generally governments do.
I kind of like the fact that people constantly debate whether or not there are aliens on Earth. And that the government, I mean, whichever governments, our respective governments, are just lying to us about it. Keeps things interesting. I don't know. I mean, we watch a lot of space-related content on this channel. And I'm very skeptical of any sighting, any picture, abduction. Brian Cox on the Fermi paradox or dark forest hypothesis makes way more sense to me than any claim of seeing an alien at the mall in Miami. But I do believe it is completely possible that there are life forms on other planets. I mean, they say there's more planets in the universe than grains of sand on Earth. And by they, I mean I've heard Carl Sagan say it. But in that case, they would be so far away that I don't believe they've made contact with us, or us with them. Leave your opinions on that. But so far, with all the Mitchell and Webb skits I've seen, Homeopathic Andy still sits at number 1. Let's see the next one. All right, this next one is moon landing.
Wouldn't it be great to make everyone think we'd landed on the moon? That'd show the Soviets.
What would it show them?
Well, they'd think we'd landed on the moon and they'd be all afraid. Do this right and the Cold War could be over by 1971.
Why don't we just release the footage of the Mars landings?
No, it's vitally important that we keep the successful mission to Mars a secret. But I've got a hunch that if we pretend to have landed on the moon, that will be in some way intimidating.
Will people believe us?
Oh, I'm sure they will, to the extent that we won't even need to bother to pay much attention to detail with regard to flags and shadows and so on. Dart, you're the top spy in the Secret Service when it comes to misleading footage. What do you suggest?
Well, to start with, of course, we'll need to build a massive rocket.
Why? We're not actually going to the moon. Sorry, I thought that was the point. Have I got this wrong?
We'll need a massive rocket because the first question people will ask when we show them the footage of the moon will be, how did you get there? So we'll have to be able to say, we went in that massive rocket you saw.
So we're not actually going to make any kind of saving in terms of the cost of a massive rocket?
No, but we will be making a saving on the cost of actually going to the moon.
True. And what costs are involved in actually going to the moon?
Well, the main one, to be honest, is the massive rocket.
Any others?
Well, other than that, it's mainly catering.
So we'll make a saving on that?
Well, no. In fact, it'll probably be more expensive to cater for an entire film crew for the duration of a shoot than it would be to feed 3 astronauts.
So, I'm just wondering, we'll still have to build the massive rocket capable of going to the moon.
We will have to do that, yes.
So I was just thinking, if we've built the moon rocket, might it not be cheaper to just pop to the moon and fake the footage there?
Fake the footage of the fake moon landing on the moon? What if people found out?
That's a risk we're just gonna have to take.
I liked this one better of the two. They were just missing a Stanley Kubrick reference. They got through a lot of the common moon landing is faked arguments in a really short amount of time. And I was actually sent 2 other skits that have to do with conspiracy theories from Mitchell and Webb, but I think I'll get to those in another video. Back to the moon, though. Something I find convincing is that Russia, or the USSR back then, was closely monitoring the mission, and they confirmed that it happened. And they would likely have a vested interest in proving that it was fake if it was faked. This was the Cold War. But yeah, it's one that still sparks debate. Oddly enough, though, I see in comment sections it's mostly people from the United States arguing that it didn't happen against people from the rest of the world acknowledging it did, which is a funny Uno reverse. If you think the moon landing was faked, go ahead and write your thoughts down below. An interesting question is, will we go back? Or will that space station ever be built? And I have other recommendations to get through with Mitchell and Webb. Let me know which one you want to see next. Let's go with REM Man on the Moon, which has a lot of cultural references from Andy Kaufman, Mott the Hoople, what else did they say? The Game of Life, Monopoly. This is alternative rock from the 90s. And there's something about how the guitar starts in this song that reminds me of The Killing Time by Echo and the Bunnymen. If you listen to it, let me know if you hear a similarity there. I don't play guitar, so maybe they are similar chords or something. Another group with a song called Man on the Moon is Brockhampton. I actually don't know where they're from, but they're an all-boy hip-hop band, which you don't see every day in 2024. This song is pretty good vibes. I don't know, it must be a lot of electronic in it. I was trying to think of the genre I would put them in besides hip-hop, but I'll make sure to add the song and you'll see for yourself. Kid Cudi also has a song called Man on the Moon. It must be a popular song title. If you can think of another moon-related music recommendation, I'll check it out. Other than that, it's really all from me today, so thank you for watching with me, and I'll catch you in the next.